What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Jegan Gaming. So it has been an extremely long time since my last video. Unfortunately, I had a death in the family. My 20-year-old nephew deemed it necessary to take his own life, so I've been, trying to help my family as best as I can. He was my sister's oldest child, and he's had a history of mental health issues. We tried our best to help him. However, he was just beyond the level of help we could give him, and unfortunately, with the way laws are in Florida, since he was over the age of 18, we could not place him into treatment unless he became a threat to himself or to others. And now look at what's happened. So I've been really dealing with that. So that being said, I decided to go ahead and make a video since I'm quarantined in my apartment, pretty much like most of the country. So I've got some new subscribers. So to all the new subscribers, welcome to the channel, and for everyone else, again, thank you for sticking around. It's greatly appreciated. So the last week or so, I've been working from home. I'm considered essential because I'm a government contractor, but they do encourage us to work from home if possible, and I've been trying to keep myself busy. So in front of you are two RGM-89s. So building gunpla is a hobby that I've pretty much taken up, and this is pretty much how I've been spending the time in my apartment when I'm not supposedly working from home. And who are we kidding? I spent my time playing Xbox most of the day. There's not much I can do from home except make phone calls and shoot emails and doing that kind of stuff. Okay, in my other time, this is what I've been doing. So on the right is they're both RGM-89s, and I'm sure by now you figured out that, okay, clearly I love Jegans. I mean, I named my channel after them. So the RGM-89 on the right, this is the Jegan from, I believe, either Char's Counterattack and possibly Gundam F91. I'm not sure about the one. I've only seen that once. I don't think it was very good. But this was my absolute first gunpla, and it, in my opinion, came out pretty good. I believe not too many people are a big fan of the color scheme, but they are accurate to how they are on the in Char's Counterattack, and on Gundam F91, this is the color scheme they're in. Okay, but most people like to paint them in different color schemes, which a lot of people do with other gunpla as well. So the gunpla, or the RGM-89 on the left, this has been my project here for the past week. Unfortunately, I ran out of paint, and both hobby towns that I have here in Colorado Springs are both closed, so I had to order some paint off of Amazon, and of course, because of the quarantine, it's taking longer than normal for it to get here, so I gotta wait probably till Monday, Tuesday before the paint's gonna get here. So that's why the RGM-89 on the right has the backpack and has the grenade and the beam saber racks on, and the one on the left doesn't, because I just don't have the paint for them, but I do have the primer, so I can at least get that done. So the point of this video is, I just wanted to kind of do something a little different, but I wanted to point out the mistakes that I've made, and I'm sure by now you've probably noticed a few. Okay, now on now this is painted in a haze gray, and now that I've moved it closer, you can really see where I screwed up here. So first lesson learned here is patience. Okay, this hobby requires patience, and in this case, I didn't allow the paint to fully dry, and as a result of messing around with the parts, snapping them together, that's why I have these blemishes and fingerprints that are now everywhere, because I simply just didn't allow the paint to dry. Okay, will you please focus? Move that back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that's the first mistake that that was very clear. Now on the arm here, and I'm gonna move this up just a little bit so you can see, you notice this right here, all this bubbling and crap that I've got going on. So the lesson learned here with all this stuff is simply put that when I was spraying the paint on, I was using spray cans. I do have a paint gun and a compressor, but the compressor is kind of it's not holding pressure for some reason. I've been trying to fix it, so right now I'm just using spray cans for the time being. I did buy the $80 kit that's on Amazon, but then again, if I believe that's the cheaper kit that's on there, and you know, what do you want? You get what you pay for. So I probably need to buy a spray gun that's a little better quality. But what I determined is that the reason why I've got all this, you know, bubbling up here, and then you can see it here, and then it's some on the legs as well, and actually right here as well. And I believe what that's from is simply I was spraying too close. So the can you don't want to be, I guess, up close to the can while you're spraying it. And that's why I've got all this crap going on right here and up here. And then you can also see where I kind of screwed up here. So I took a paintbrush and I tried to cover some stuff up. And of course that looks like absolute dog shit. And then right here I've got other blemishes. And again, this is because I was impatient and I thought it was dry enough, and of course it wasn't, and I screwed up the paint. Okay, so that's a huge lesson right there, is, you know, patience. And unfortunately for me, patience has never been my strong point. But if you're gonna do gunpla, you know, you do need some patience. Now right here, you can't really see it. Hold this up. All right, okay, you can't see it, but in the light, you can see my fingerprint right here in the black. Again, it was not dry all the way, and I should have let it dry. So that's a huge lesson right there. Okay. Now I painted the frame, so you can see here on the hands, the elbow joints, the knee joints, and the vents right here, along with the gun pod on the head unit. I painted this in platinum silver. Now, I'm actually pretty happy how that came out, but I think I'm going to use gunmetal in the future. I think gunmetal probably would be a little bit better. I think it just looks better on the frame. So I think that's the what I'm going to go with next time. Now, the other thing that I'm pretty much going to stop doing is on certain parts of this Jegan, I used a paintbrush, and you can see the difference in texture from where it was spray painted versus where it was painted with the brush. So I'm really gonna start looking for a better spray gun and a better compressor. But for right now, I'm using the spray cans, and if done right, I think it comes out pretty good. So now right here, this was my first attempt at painting painting gunpla. This RGM right here, this was my second attempt. Now, so lessons learned here from this one. Here's where I screwed up on this one. I made the mistake of painting the joints. The problem with this is that I was using Tamiya paint, which to me is, you know, is a good paint, but it is very thick. So if you're using Tamiya, I believe you do need to use some kind of paint thinner. But the problem is that since I painted the joints, you cannot pose this at all. This is extremely stiff. Okay. And the problem, what happened, as you notice that this leg is missing, and if you look in there, you notice that the joint broke off in the torso. And here, okay, there's a joint. What happened is that I painted this, and when I connected, you know, the arms, the feet to the legs to the torso, and the arms to the torso, these things, and see right there, they don't move. Okay, they're pretty much stuck where they're at. It's very hard to move this thing. Okay, and right now I'm trying to, bend them, and it's just not working. Okay, and what happened is that after I connected this leg, I tried to pose this, and that happened. Okay. So when you look at my other two, this one is completely posable. This Jegan, even though it's painted, is also completely posable, and the reason it is, if you look in there, you'll notice that that joint is not painted. I didn't even bother to paint it at all. Now, I do believe what most people do is they'll take some masking tape and they'll cover up the actual pegs that go into the slots so that you don't have this problem. I didn't bother to do that. I might do that next time because it does kind of stick out when you look there, that you see that everything here is painted except for that joint. Okay, but again, it doesn't really bother me that much, but if you got OCD or you just want perfection, then that's going to stick out. So I think I'm going to try the masking tape next time, so I can protect that peg that goes into the slots. Okay. God, that looks, when you look at the head unit, that just looks really bad. Okay, again, that was due to my lack of patience. Okay. Another lesson learned from my first attempt at painting, and understand the reason why I painted this black is because I wanted to go kind of like with I guess maybe a stealth type theme Jegan is what I wanted to do. And a project I do want to do is have a squad of Jegans. And right now I have a backlog, and I think most people who build Gunpla have some type of backlog. I have the Easy 8 and the ground type Gundams from the 8th MS team that I'm going to build. I also have one of the RGMs, so I can use as a head replacement for one of the Gundams, similar to what you saw on the 8th MS team. So that's another side project. So these lessons that I've learned from not so much from the one on the right, because again, I just snapped this together and I didn't bother doing any painting, and it came out pretty good. And so I've learned some lessons from this one, and the first lesson learned from this one again is don't paint the joints. Okay, that didn't turn out too good. Okay, another lesson learned is if you look here, you see these little, you see these little nubs. Let's get centered first off. Right here and right here, and you just see them everywhere. Okay, you got all these nubs. What happened is that I painted the pieces while they were still connected to the runner, and this is why I discovered you don't do that, because once these parts were dry, that's when I cut them out of the runner, and as a result I was left with this all over. Let's see, they're just everywhere, which means now you got to go back and paint over this, and that's going to leave, distinctive. You can look at it and tell if you look close enough. Okay. So with my second attempt at painting, I didn't do that on this one. Okay. What I did was I went on Amazon, bought the clamps or clips or whatever the hell you call these things. You put them in this base. Now the thing is with this base, that I got this off Amazon. One thing I don't like about this one is that it's really hard to put them in the peg. You've really got to force it in there, and I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be, but it's kind of nerve-wracking. So I might go on New Type HQ, because they have one that looks like it's pretty simple to use. Well, with this one, when I'm trying to take it out and put it in, you really got to force it in there, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like that. Okay, so there are my two, and I don't want to go as far to say that my second attempt at painting was a failure. To some extent, yes, it was, but I walked away a little bit wiser, because now, after doing a little bit of research, I didn't think of this. But all I have to do in the future with my next attempt, or the next Gunpla that I paint, when I start having this all this bubbling and cracking crap, all I have to do apparently is just sand it down and then just reapply the paint. That's all I've really got to do. Okay. And again, I wouldn't have all this shit that's going on here, like if you can I don't know if you can see that or not, but all the, the gray got mixed in with the black there because, again, my lack of patience right there is what took care of that. So I just wanted to, again, it's been a long time since, I think it's been well over a month since my last video. So I kind of wanted to change things up a little bit. It's not really a review or anything. I'm not at that point to where I can do, review of gunpla or anything like that. But I did want to share the mistakes that I've made. So if any of you are new to gunpla rather, then hopefully you can take something away from this. And this is probably just basic stuff, especially if you've been doing this since, the 90s. One of the things I did do is I joined a Facebook group. And if you're new to gunpla, I highly recommend it because there are a lot of people in there that will give you great ideas. People post pictures and video of the gunpla that they've built. They post pictures of competitions they've been to, and a lot of people will give you advice on how to fix, some of the crap you're doing wrong. And again, it might not look very good, but I did learn a lot from this, and to me, that's that's something. So that's not categorized as a complete failure. One of the things I am thinking about doing is using this Jegan right here. I'm going to use it as a attempt to do weathering, because I'm thinking maybe some of the weathering will cover up a lot of this shit. Or what I might do is simply take the armor pieces off, sand them down, and try reapplying the paint. So I don't know which one I'm going to do. I might just leave it alone, and again, just use it as a kind of a platform on weathering. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos on how to weather, so I'm going to be looking at a lot of those. And I think I'm going to try that on this one right here. The one on my right, I'm just going to leave that alone. And why the hell does that look crooked? Is that crooked? Is it just me, or does the torso look crooked? Okay. Alright, that might be something else I did wrong. I just noticed that. Well, anyway, that's pretty much it. Again, I just wanted to share some of the mistakes I've made. I think, again, that I did learn some stuff from it, and I'm thinking the next one that I paint is going to come out pretty good. So I think I'll make a video on that whenever I do it. So anyway, I hope everyone's been doing okay during the quarantine. Please stay inside. If you don't need to go out, don't be stupid like some of these people. Okay, it's just ridiculous. From what I'm told, you really don't want to have to go through getting tested for coronavirus. I've seen videos where they have to stick this cotton swab or something all the way up your nose so they can get the sample they need to test you, and that does not look fun. So hopefully everyone's got food, they've got toilet tissue. Last time I went to Walmart about a week ago, I watched two women fight over a box of rice. So, people are just really getting stupid. So just everyone take care. Anyway, so again, if you're new to gunpla, I'm really hoping you learned something, you took something away from this. God knows I did. So that's still a win, even though these both who knows, I might use this Jegan as a kit bash, or once I do want to start building dioramas, and I might use this maybe like as battle damage or something, who knows. And again, this one I think I'm going to once I get the paint, because again I'm out of paint, I will use this as a platform to try weathering. And once I get I don't know how many more Jegans I'm going to go through, because again, I've got I've got about 10 other kits that I need to build. So that's what I'm pretty much doing in my spare time. Well, anyway, so again, I hope everyone's safe. I hope you got food. Don't be stupid. Stay inside. Anyway, so if you like this, or if you've got some constructive criticism or advice you want to add, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. Feel free to hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time.